Going on. Just wanted to hop on here real quick. I've been out of town for a few days and just didn't want y'all to think that I haven't been keeping up with what's been going on. As you can see, I'm here to talk about the Claressa Shields Funky Friday interview that she did with our boy Cam Newton. Yep, I did see it. And it was a few things that I want to just talk about with you guys and see what your thoughts were on it. As you can see, ooh, y'all see that in the background? I am in the Sunshine State. I just needed to step away for a little bit, just kind of, you know, take a vacation, get away for a little bit. Yep. But yeah, we're going to talk about the whole Claressa Shields Funky Friday interview. You know, at this point, when it comes to her interviewing, there's a few things that I'd like to see from Claressa. Okay. Number one, I know people gonna ask her about Remy, right? Because that's the topic, right? I mean, what I want to say, let me start off from the beginning though. Like I want to say that I appreciate Cam Newton's style of interviewing her because he was completely respectful to Claressa Shields regarding her career. He asked her some questions about like what it's like for her to get ready, her mindset. He asked her about, fight day, what she does, what she eats, all of those things. Things that you normally do want to hear, like some background stuff that you may not know about somebody's like preparation and about like what they do to get amped up and stuff. So I really appreciated that in Cam because he really was trying to give like some insight to her and her background as far as like her boxing. Okay, so shout out to Cam Newton. You know, I've always been a fan of Cam's from way back when he was playing football. So shout out. What's going on, Christina? We just talking about the whole Claressa Shields interview that she did with Cam Newton. So I appreciated him. He was very professional, of course, like he usually is anyway. And I feel like he just was trying to be respectful of Claressa, right? So talked about her boxing, and of course, we got to what everybody invites Claressa Shields on their show to talk about, which is her personal life. Let's be clear. All right. So the first thing I would like to see from Claressa Shields is to stop talking about Remy particularly. And when I say that, it's kind of like, we know people gonna ask her. Thank you, Christina. I appreciate that. We know people gonna ask her about Remy, but I wish she would just be like, you know, we all know what the situation is at this point. I don't have anything against her, which she did say, because they did play a game, jab or TKO, right? And there were certain names that he gave her. And it was like, would you jab him, which means you all right with him, or would you TKO him, which means you got a problem with him? Okay. So everybody that he gave her a name for, she said TKO for, like, of course, TKO Alicia Baumgartner. And he did ask her about the diss track, Run Your Mouth. And he was like, was that aimed at anybody in particular? And she said, well, it hit whoever it hits. When we know, based on the art associated with that song, that she was talking about Alicia Baumgartner. Okay. So anyway, just be like this. I think this is my problem. Like when you're asked something directly, it's like you don't answer it. I feel like, why can you just be like, we got beef basically. And yeah, I did do that track song for her. I mean, clearly the art says it, but like, just, I guess, if you're gonna do it, just stand on it. That's all I'm saying, because it's kind of like when she's asked a question directly, I just, maybe it's not the way I would answer it. Maybe that's what it is. Okay. Like, I'm just going to be honest. Maybe it's not the way I would answer it. Okay. So, anyway, she was acting like she didn't want to say it was directly for Alicia Baumgartner, but we all know it was. I mean, the whole little Barbie doll at her feet. I don't know if the Barbie doll was supposed to be groveling at her feet or cleaning off her shoes. I don't know, but it was the exact, replica of something that Alicia Baumgartner wore. Okay, so clearly she was talking about Alicia Baumgartner, but I guess he just wanted to give her the opportunity to say whatever she wanted to say about the subject. By the way, he did indicate that he does know Alicia and that she is a friend of his show. So, okay, moving on. Um, when it came to that game, that jab versus TKO, it really bothered me how bad she was at playing that simple game, y'all. And I'm not in the business of, if someone has challenges, trying to be mean about that or be ugly about that. Because guess what? If you have any kind of challenge and you are challenged, then, there's help out there for you, right? But he had to tell her the rules of that game so many times when he had just said it. It made me wonder, was she paying attention to what he was telling her? I don't know. She's not really good at on the spot type of situations. It's kind of like she really does not do well unless it's something that she is already familiar with and something that she already knows. If you notice, in every interview she does, she answers questions the same way. She has the same exact response that she's had before. It's kind of like she seems uncomfortable when it's not something that she's familiar with, if you will. Okay, so it was kind of hard to watch that part of the interview. And again, not trying to be funny when it comes to if she has challenges with, like, I don't know, because like she is a boxer, and I don't know if there's something that has been impacting her ability to like remember things, because sometimes short-term memory loss is a thing. I don't know, but y'all let me know what y'all think about that. But it was just hard for me to see that she struggled so much with trying to play that simple game. The only person that she said that she would not TKO was Remy Ma, because her name was on the list. Of course it was, right? She said she would TKO Cyborg, Alicia Baumgartner, and I can't remember the other names right now off the top of my head. I'm glad she didn't say she would TKO Remy Ma. But what was interesting to me and what I paid attention to was when he asked Claressa about the golden child, right? Here's what I need y'all to understand about her response to that. I noticed the micro expression. Let me explain what a micro expression is if you don't know. It is the facial expression that you make just for a fleeting moment. It can be a second, but it's the facial expression you make before you answer a question. And it usually is very telling as to how you feel about whatever you're being asked. And you don't realize you're doing it, and it's nothing you can really control. The micro expression that I saw, I'm going to tell you why I didn't like it. Okay. Because if you are talking about you're going to marry this man, you're going to give him a baby, and all of this other stuff, happily ever after is what you're talking about, right? But he has a young child. And when you were asked, have you ever spent time with her, or do you spend time with her, however Cam phrased it, right? The micro expression I saw told me a couple of things. One, it confirmed for me that she had never spent time with the golden child, which I completely agree with. Okay. Um, because whenever you're trying to have a blended family situation, and the two women, as in the mother and the new woman in the man's life, do not get along, especially with the dynamic that we have between Remy Ma and Claressa, it's not a good idea to bring a child into that. It's not a good idea to expose the child to the woman that you're with who can't stand her mother. Because as we all know, Claressa can't really hide how she feels about things. And so, of course, that's going to come off onto the child, right? Don't want that. It's not healthy. It's not good. Kids should not be involved in that type of drama. Okay. So, the second thing that I noticed about her micro expression was irritation. Irritation. Like, if you're looking to be with a man, marry him, have kids of your own with him, etc., like his child that he already had before you should be welcoming, right? Well, however you feel about her mother, whatever, it has nothing to do with the golden child. It has nothing to do with her. I feel like if she were open to potentially being a stepmother to the golden child, the micro expression that was shown would not have been that. I don't know if other people had questioned her about her involvement with Pep and Remy's daughter. I'm not sure, you know, how she feels about it. I'm just telling you what I've observed, right? She looked irritated, and that's concerning to me. Because how you gonna have a life with somebody, they got a young child, and when you're asked about that child, it appeared that you were irritated. I don't like that. Did not like that at all. Because for me, and I'm just speaking for me right now, when you know somebody that you're dating has children, you have to be accepting of that fact. Because if you're not accepting of that fact, why are you even wanting to continue the relationship? If Because I know that when you meet somebody, you don't know what the potential of the relationship is. You don't, right? So I'm not even mad at that fact. But especially for women that don't have children, because I know for the longest before I had my children, I ain't date men that had kids. I wasn't ready for that. Wasn't ready for it. Didn't want that. I don't have my own children, so I wasn't ready to incorporate children within a relationship. Okay. So with that being said, that's another question for me as to why you even got involved with Pap. Why did you even get involved with him? Because it's like he has a child. Okay? He has a marriage. It's just so many questions that I have to get into the mindset behind the decision. You see, for me, it's interesting because you didn't seem like you even wanted to go there. Could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, that's fine. But I'm just telling you what my observation is with that. Okay. Um, and I'm not saying that Claressa should speak on their child at all. I don't know that that would be wise of her to speak on their child. I'm just noticing the micro expression, which told me a little bit based off of my perception. That's all. So moving on. Another thing about her interviews going forward, I wish that she would not say anything particularly about Remy Ma and and throw these subtle jabs, I feel. Because here's the thing, a lot of people are highlighting what she said about, Pat was supposed to downgrade, blah, 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 whatever, whatever. And I'm not saying that she should feel like she's not who she is. I mean, because we know her accolades, we know, how she feels about herself. Nothing wrong with that. But I just feel like, you know, I'm trying to be nice here and I'm trying not to like read more into it. But she uses the fact that she's younger as if that automatically makes her an upgrade. Like, I don't like that, because at some point in your life you keep living, you will be Remy Ma's age. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to be her age. So you have to respect that. Like, we can't help how old we are, because if we keep living, we going to be whatever age we're going to be. You're not automatically an upgrade because you're younger than somebody. And I feel like that's what her comment meant. Like, off top, I'm all automatically an upgrade because I'm younger. That has nothing, I mean, like, that, I don't see why that automatically makes you an upgrade. You feel me? Like, what about who you are as a person? You know, I don't know that she's in touch with who she is as a person, to be honest, because anytime she describes herself, she only talks about her accolades. She only talks about what she looked like. She only talks about, sometimes she talks about what her body can do. It's like, but what about your heart? You see, what about, other talents you may have outside of boxing? Like, we know you're a great boxer, right? What else is there though? Do she even know? Is the question. Like, that's what I'd be wondering with her. Like, is there anything deeper that she's even considered? Because, like, one day you ain't gonna look the same. One day you will gain weight. And I don't think that she thinks beyond, like, certain points, because she was talking about um having a baby. She went into that again. This is like the third time she's pushed back having a baby or whatever, because, and this is a contradiction that I noticed, because initially when she first started talking about her life plan, y'all remember, she was like, oh, by the age of 30, I want a baby and everything like that. But then in this interview with Cam, she was like, for Papoose, I would have a baby sooner than 35. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, because when you had other interviews, you were saying that you always had a life plan, which women, we do that all the time as little girls. We say, oh, by this age we want to do this, and by that age we want to have that. So I can believe that when she was a little girl, she was already planning, like, what she wanted her life to be. And she said that she wanted to have babies by 30, but all of a sudden she was like, oh, but for Cam, on Cam's show, she was like, for Papoose, I'll move my time frame up to 31 or whatever. Okay, what's going on? Somebody said Claressa Shields can't hold a candle to Remy. In no shape, form, or fashion. Remy is beautiful without makeup. Yeah, she is. She is. But see, it's not just about, like, the outside beauty, right? Because I know in this society we live in now, it's all about the outside, because we have so many different things we can do to enhance our beauty. It's not just about makeup anymore. It's about hair, makeup, you got lashes, you got injections, you got surgeries. Like, it's all this stuff that you can do to enhance your looks or whatever. And if that's what you choose to do, that's cool. Like, whatever makes you happy, I guess. But, like, what else is there? Where else are we going with this? Because looks will fade. And that's the point I'm making when it comes to Claressa. She was talking about she gonna have a baby next year. At first it was, in 2026 we having a baby. Now in 2027 we having a baby. And Cam brought up a very good point, something that I said before as well. You have committed yourself to a 2-year 4-fight deal with Win Records. Okay. They paid you a $3 million advance. She confirmed that in this interview. We said that already. I said that before in the video. She always talking about $8 million. The rest of them millions of dollars, like, she got 3 up front. The other 5 is contingent upon her doing certain things. And what I believe is she has to do 4 fights. This will be her second one under Win Records. Okay. In 2 years, she got to do 4 fights. And I think somebody said she has to win them all or something, which would explain why we see this fight she about to have in a few days. If that's true, that's what it is. Okay. So you're talking about you're going to pause your career to have a baby. Now, she's been signed to Win Records since last year in like November, I believe, something like that. So we're coming up on 1 year. You talking about you gonna pause your career to have a baby. It takes you 9 months to be pregnant, if you even get pregnant quick like that, because you never know what your body is going to do. You never know what your body's going to do, right? So if you get pregnant like right away, you still got to be pregnant for 9 months. You still have to heal. You still have to get back in shape. And it's like, I don't know, your body will change. And I don't know if she's considered that, because it's some experiences that you won't know what they are until you have them, right? And having a baby is definitely one of those things. It's definitely one of those things. You can't control when you conceive. You can have all the sex you want, but that don't mean you're going to conceive as soon as you decide, okay, I want a baby. And that's why I just be wondering what her mindset is, what's her. I just don't understand. Like, she say things sometimes, and I just be like, okay, you know, you can plan for that, but I mean, we can just see. But the timeline isn't really matching with what she's committed herself to now, because Papoose is an executive at Win Records. Can they and will they be willing to change the terms and conditions of the contract? Like, I mean, because what she's talking about doesn't make sense for her career. And that's what I be talking about with Claressa. Like, I don't see that she thought about that. It's like, it's interesting to me. It's really interesting. What's going on? Y'all let me know what y'all think. Like, it doesn't make much sense. And I'm sitting here like, I don't know. And she has a right to have a baby. She does. She does. I'm never gonna tell a woman, what she can't do with her body or whatever. She wants to have a baby. She wants to be a mother. That's fine. But then, you know, it's more to having a baby than just having a baby. You gotta be trying to train and take care of a baby and all of this stuff. It just, to me, doesn't make sense. It would make more sense to me if she would go ahead on, fulfill her contractual obligation while she is kid free. Like, why would you throw a kid in the mix of this? Like, why would you? And I know some people don't care about, being married first before they have a child or anything like that. That's not what I'm getting at, because, it's your decision as to when you have a child. But like, when your body is the tool you use for your money, and that's your biggest bag, you feel me? Like, no matter what you making on social media, because she boasts all the time about, oh, I make this on social media and blah blah blah. But like, your boxing is your biggest bag. So why would you know, alter your body? And I want to let Claressa Shields know something. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, let me see. Adre, I'm not sure I'm saying your name correctly, but I see your comment. It says, is her mental there to have a baby? Let me say this. When it comes to your mental and having a baby, I don't think anybody can prepare for that, for real. Okay. I'm a mother, and motherhood, you have an idea as to what being a parent is, and then you do it, and it's completely different than you thought, because again, it's one of those experiences that you have to be in it to understand it, right? So as far as her mental, I can't assess that. I can't assess that, nor will I try. What I will say is she has some growing up to do. She has some maturing to do. Okay. Hey, Miss Lady T. She said, Miss Lady T said, because her cousin said she was on disability when she went to the Olympics. She might have been. She might have been. I mean, I'm not a specialist in, you know, prescribing or diagnosing mental illness or anything like that. If she was on disability, there must have been something they found and everything. But that does not mean that she can't have children. There's people that have very severe mental illness that are parents. Do I think that she do anything to her child? I don't. I don't think that. Um, so I'm not implying that at all. But do I think Claressa needs to mature and think beyond some of the thoughts that she had? Because when you bring a child into the world, right, you won't have time for this foolishness. And if you do have time for the foolishness that she's doing, then where are your priorities? I'm asking because in the interview she said little kid, referring to someone having the kid, like she was disconnected. Yeah, see, it be stuff like that. Like, you know, that, and I was getting to that moment when Cam asked her about who's going to have the baby, right? Cam was saying the same thing that I've been saying. You have a contractual obligation to fight these fights. You only going on the second fight. Okay. So if you have to fulfill a contractual obligation in 2 years and we coming up on year one, then why would you pause to have a baby in between that time? It don't make sense. For her mental, and the mom was told not to have kids, allegedly. Okay, so did Shalita, her cousin, say that, Lady T? Because I might have missed that Shalita had said that, because I've been on vacation. Like she is in competition to have his child because Remy has his child. Well, she in competition for everything else she want. Remy looks, her life, her man, her clothes. I mean, shoot, she want a baby now too. And sometimes when we have this mistress type situation, they be want everything that you as the main woman or wife have. You feel me? Oh, so Shalita did say that. Shalita, okay, so based on, what I'm being told here, Shalita's mother was allegedly told not to have children herself. Shalita said mental illness run in that family, and that may be true. And it runs in a lot of families, unfortunately. You know, it does. And there's tools and medication and stuff out there for stuff like that, but a lot of people go undiagnosed. They won't go take care of their mental health because they don't feel like anything is wrong with them. And if she does have like a mental issue or whatever, I don't know. I can't tell whether or not she's taking care of it or not. If I had to guess, I would say no, because the way she's so impulsive with how she goes off and how she seems not to be able to control, some of her impulses to do things that are adverse to her own self and her own career, would tell me that, she may not be getting what she needs to take care of her mental health. Now, at the end of the day, mental health is so important because it's the catalyst and tool for everything that you do. It's the basis. You can see she really don't like children with the interaction with her niece. Like she be irritated sometimes. And see, children, that's the thing. Like children, you have to have patience. You can't just be snapping off at children and stuff. A baby will never ever make a man or woman stay. Only brings more problems. Absolutely. I completely agree with that. I don't know why people feel like having a baby is going to solidify something. In fact, you can bring a baby into a completely great relationship that had no problems per se. And I don't mean no problems, but I mean it's going well. And then a baby just changed the whole dynamic of the relationship because you have to focus on that baby. And that's what I'm saying. I think that, because like I said in my last live, I think when I was talking to y'all, like Claressa Shields acts as if Papoose is like another trophy to her. And so the idea of her bringing a baby into this is like another trophy. That's how I see this, you know? I feel like she's collecting more accolades, if you will, because from what I see from her, let me tell y'all what I see from her. This whole thing with Papoose is kind of like a competition for her, right? It's like a competition for her. She wants to be able to say she won. And, getting Papoose was a win. Having his baby will be another win. It's kind of like, oh, she ain't got nothing more than I have with him. You know, it's weird to me because you could have had your own situation, man, that's free to be a man that you ain't have to be falling asleep on the phone with. And it's just sad. She confirmed that for 6 months, you hanging on the phone all night with a man. What kind of sense that makes? As a grown woman, y'all ain't in high school. You grown people going to sleep on the phone because you want to confirm he ain't sleeping in the bed with his wife. Come on, y'all. Come on. It's ridiculous. Exactly. And plus, nobody really knew her until the scandal happened. And that's a fact. That's a whole fact. Because unless you was a boxing enthusiast and followed boxing, you didn't know no Claressa Shields. That's because she has never had this much attention before. Right. I agree with that too. It's like she's addicted to the attention. It's like she'll do anything, say anything for the attention. I mean, it's clear to me that she is addicted, and she seems like she's so afraid to not be talking, but then she complains about the people that's talking. I really believe she is slow for real. She don't comprehend. That game exposed that about her, that she doesn't comprehend well. Unfortunately, she looked a little bit like she was having a problem. Unless they were into boxing and she was engaged and messing with Maserati Bud during the same time. Yeah, the timeline is a little weird about that because from what I understood, she was engaged. The day she met Papoose, she still had on her engagement ring. I did a video on it. She still had on her engagement ring. They met July 6th. I mean, they tell every interview, they talk about July 6th, July 6th. A couple of weeks later, I believe on July 27th, she had a fight that she invited Papoose to. Her man was up there on the stage with her, right? And I think that she don't remember certain details and stuff because it's like, girl, we saw Tony on the stage with you at that fight that you invited Papoose to. After you had been in Remy's inbox and after you had been liking stuff about Papoose. And then she straight up lied when she said she didn't know who Papoose was. Girl, if you was following Remy Ma, you knew who Papoose was because a lot of people didn't know who Papoose was until Love and Hip Hop. Like Papoose didn't get as much attention, notoriety, being known until he was on Love and Hip Hop with Remy Ma. So you mean to tell me you in this woman inbox and you have to go on somebody's page and see what they are posting just to get to their inbox on Instagram? Y'all know how it works. And you mean to tell me you ain't know Papoose? She straight up lied when she said she didn't know Papoose because it's evidence of her. Now, let me say this. There's older posts of her liking Papoose's stuff, right? But there's no timestamp as to when she liked it. So we really can't say that she was on his page like that, liking stuff, because we don't know at what point she liked it. So what I'm saying is you can go all the way down to the beginning of somebody's Instagram page and like stuff, and you won't know exactly when somebody made that click. So I'm not even going to say that she was doing that. And the Maserati Bud stuff sprinkled in at the same time. It's weird. Wait, plus Pat performed at Tony's birthday party. What? He performed at Tony. Well, somebody tell me when Tony's birthday party was, because I missed that. I was confused when she said a kid need to stay in a kid place. Yeah, I don't know what she was talking about there either. They've been pushing that day so hard because they know they slipped up and said 2020. Yeah, now I remember the Tamara Hall show interview, right? She said that Papoose sent her something in 2020, but you ain't know him when you seen him in 2024. Tell me, so I didn't even know he was a rapper. Girl, stop. Because what else have anybody ever known Papoose to be aside from Remy, my husband? A rapper. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. And you mean to tell me that if, okay, let's say, because she said that Papoose was standing off to the side, waiting for her to talk to the press and everything and everybody when she was at the Shakur fight, right? So if that was just a regular man, blue collar, 9 to 5 working man that was standing there waiting for you to finish with the press, you would have talked to him? Answer me that. You would have talked to him, Claressa? A regular ass man who you don't know from a man on the moon, right? You would have allowed him to come up and speak to you and take a picture with you and whatnot? Stop it. Ain't nobody stupid. Oh my God. She said Pap was her favorite rapper in the beginning. See what I'm saying? She can't even keep her lies straight. She done lied for so long and for so much. She can't even keep it straight at this point. That's what I'm saying. It's so many inconsistencies in what she says. When she did that game show, Pop the Balloon. Yeah, and what she doing? Okay, so the Pop the Balloon show, from my understanding, you're supposed to be trying to get a date when you go on that show, right? At what point was she ever needing a date? Because I mean, when did she stop? When did her and Tony break up? And that's the thing. It's always been said they break up and make up and stuff like that, right? But she never puts a pin in when they actually broke up. Because after her fight that she had, I'm going back to the fight that Papoose was invited to by her and that Tony was on stage with her at, right? After that fight, in like August 2024, he posted her, as in Claressa, saying, I love you. And that was Tony that was saying how much he loved Claressa in August 2024. So then when you come out later and say, you went from friends to best friends to in a relationship with Pat in a month, and within that time frame, your fiance posting you talking about I love you, it makes people ask questions. Okay? She was with Pap. She said she had to ask Pap about doing the show. Okay. See, I didn't watch the episode, so thank you for confirming that. So she said she had to ask Pap could she do the show. And you're saying that on that show, Pop the Balloon, she said that Papoose was her favorite rapper. How was he your favorite rapper one moment, but then you didn't know him the next? You see, I think that Claressa thinks that we slow too. I think she feel like ain't nobody smarter than her. Okay. That's what they need to ask her about Tony in these interviews. Right. Like they don't never get to the real stuff. Y'all excuse me. I need to drink. Drink me a little sip. But yeah, they never get to the real with her. It's weird. She be lying so much she can't keep up what she said. No, apparently not. Apparently not. She cannot keep up with it. I mean, if we were not out here talking about it, we wouldn't be able to keep up with it. It's just too much. It's too much to keep up with for one person who seems to be challenged in, their mental capacity. And it don't help that she gets hit in the head for a living. Not even trying to be funny. That's just facts. It's just really sad because at this point, I don't think she need to do no more interviews, y'all. I just don't, because it doesn't help her. And like, a lot of her fans and stuff was saying, oh, she ate with that line about people thinking that Papoose was going to downgrade to some Instagram model who had like 2,000 followers. It's like, girl, what the hell they got to do with anything? What are you talking about? Like, what? So we see what she put stock into. She put stock into how much money somebody made. She put stock into like how many followers they have. Like nothing that's really of some substance. You feel me? Like it's nothing that really matters in the grand scheme of things. And see, listen, this is what I want y'all to understand. When you're choosing somebody to be with in a relationship, share life with them, all of that stuff. What if you get sick and they got to be making decisions for the best thing to do about your life, your health, etc.? Because life come at you fast. Sometimes stuff happen and you got to make fast and hard decisions and stuff like that. Would you want somebody that seems to be a little challenged making decisions over your life? I'm just gonna leave it out there. I wanted to Cam know something when he asked how she was going to have a baby. Like, I think I don't know what he could have known. I don't know. But Cam is right. As far as, you know, would you use a surrogate? That would make sense to me. You have the money because having a surrogate is very expensive. But that would be the same reason she wouldn't want to do it because, you know, Claressa seems to be the type that would rather do stuff herself than to pay somebody to do it. You know, so paying somebody to carry her baby, and she said she would not want to do that because she had to be explained by Cam like what he meant by that. She was like, "Who the FS gonna have a baby?" And see, let me point something out. Cam didn't like that disrespect of her speaking to him like that because if you didn't know, Cam is like an alpha male type dude, and he was like, "Girl, he was about to cuss her out, y'all." It was said Pap had a vasectomy. I know, I heard that too, right? But I know that vasectomies can be reversed. But yeah, like why you had a vasectomy, but Claressa acting like that's a non-factor because vasectomies can be reversed. I know at one time they were permanent, but you know how science does. It advances so much that they can reverse that vasectomy. So yeah, if that's true. Because like, I know somebody has said that, but did we hear Papoose say that at some point? Because I know it's been a while that he might have said that. Can somebody let me know if they heard him say that out of his own mouth, or is that something that people just said? Because I heard that too. And see, that's another thing. Like, you know, it's just so much speculation out there. It's just crazy how much, you know, people have said and stuff. We don't know all the facts for real because we're not there. And so whenever Papoose talk, he don't never clear nothing up except that Claressa is in this way more than him. And that's what I want to get to too, because Cam straight up asked her, who love who more? Do you love Pat more or does he love you more? And she said, oh, he loved me more because I can be me and I put him through a lot. Remy better make sure he don't steal the embryos they have left. Oh, I wonder how that would even work. What he gonna do with her embryos though? Like, that's some sick stuff. Like, I hope he wouldn't be trying to, dang. What he gonna got these Remy embryos up here? I got these Remy and Pap embryos. Like, what the hell he gonna do with them? Because from what I understand, Claressa wants to naturally have a baby, right? She want to naturally have a baby. So I don't know what he would do with her embryos or their embryos. I don't know because they're still married. So I wonder what rights he would have to the embryos. And then if he could get them, what the hell he gonna do with them? That's some weird stuff. Because oof, they don't make no sense. She would do whatever Pap tell her to do. Well, she did say whatever Pap says goes, right? That's why I know this all this stuff that she doing. He all right with it. She get a bad rap, right? Like, she get a bad rap as if she doing this on her own by herself. But Pat be right there. He just in the background like he always is, trying to act like he the good guy, trying to act like, you know, he above all the mess and stuff like that. No, he be right with it. Papoose be right with it. Okay. I don't believe that he don't know or he's shocked or whatever. Like, nah, he be right there for it. Um, What else about this interview? Because I mean, it was okay. Like I feel like at this point, she don't need to do no more interviews. She don't need to do no more interviews because she don't say nothing any different than what she's already said anyway. She really don't. I just wish that she could do an interview and not talk about Remy Ma. Like even if they ask her, just don't even talk about her because she always has to say something as if Remy is not in the picture. She gonna always be in the picture as long as they're married, honey. She's just a pawn in his web of lies. He don't want Claressa. I don't think he want her either. Not for real. Not like a man is supposed to want a woman that he love and want to have a baby with and a life with and all this stuff that Claressa say. It's not giving what it should give in that regard. It's really not. And she just refused to see it. She just refused to see it. And she was talking about how can't nobody take her money and stuff, and Pap not getting no money out of her. And again, I challenge that because it's like if he's an executive at Win, how he not getting no money off of you? Like I think for Claressa, she doesn't understand it just because she's not like maybe giving him money, like here you go, here's $50,000 or whatever. She don't understand that her being signed to Win is him getting her money. Because what in the heck is she signing Win Records for? You see what I mean? Like if you want to help your girlfriend and give her ideas, she don't need to sign a contract for you to do that. And she was saying how nobody else was offering her $8 million, but look at the terms and conditions of the 8 million. She let's see, she is just building him up until he can find someone on Remy level. Yeah, but see, to Claressa, she is above Remy. Y'all heard her in the interview. She pretty much is saying that Pap upgraded by getting with her. That's how she feels. She feels like because she has the accolades that she have in boxing, that's an upgrade because of that. And see, how materialistic is that, right? Because it's your ability to box and earn money is the reason why you say you're an upgrade, not when you have to keep saying it. Yeah, because you know what is there beyond that with Claressa? It's only so long you can be like, yeah, I got 2 gold medals and all these different belts and stuff, you know. And then somebody had broke down the whole 19 time, she likes to say like 19-time world champion. And it's like, that's not really accurately expressed in how you say what kind of champion you are. Like she's just counting, I guess, the wins or something. Like y'all tell me what that's like. She has no identity. No, she don't. I mean, like I said this before, it's kind of like she pieced together parts of people's lives that she want to take, and she just, that's her identity. Like she pull a little from over here, a little over there, a little over here. You know, she don't know who she is. She hasn't taken the time to get to know who she is. She doesn't know. Because when she talks about herself, all she talk about is her accolades. She don't know. Most of her belts are vacant belts. She didn't have to fight for them. Hmm. So, okay, you said most of her belts are vacant belts that she didn't have to fight for. So, not sure, because I don't know all the rules of boxing. I really don't. Because I like to watch it, but you know how like you like to watch something, but you may not know all the rules of something. Like that's how I am with boxing. I like the sport. I've been watching it for a long time, but I don't know all the rules. So help me understand what that means when you said most of the belts are vacant that she didn't have to fight for. Because I don't know what that means as far as like, because I thought you had to, in order to have belts, you had to fight for them. And she has what, 18, 19 fights under her belt. So help me understand that one. But yeah, she only talks about herself in terms of her accolades, not about the person she is. And then when she said why Pap loves her so much, she said because she puts him through a lot because she mean. That's very telling as well. If there was no one at the time to fight and it was up for grabs. Oh, so she just kind of like, I'll take him because there was nobody that would fight or could fight that qualified to fight for him. Is that what you're saying? That's interesting. In that weight class, right? That's what I mean. In that weight class, like there's nobody in the weight class, so she automatically gets the belts because she's the only one in the weight class. That's interesting. If that's what that is, that's interesting. So anybody that wants to can come challenge those belts, and then they can take them if they win. Which I don't know how fair that is because if there was nobody in that weight class for her to fight, how can she just claim them? But then if somebody won them, they gotta fight her to get them. That's not fair. If that's the rule. I mean, it's the rule because it's the rule, but like it is not. It's not really fair because she didn't have to fight to get them. She just paraded them around, and she take them everywhere she go to. Like that's what I'm saying. Change it up. We already know. And she fought Franchon. I heard it was 4 times because she fought. I think they fought when they weren't pro once, and then they fought 3 times as pro boxers. I think they've actually fought 4 times, and that's crazy. I don't want to keep fighting the same person. I mean, like, I guess again, you make money by boxing, so I guess Franchon just felt like I'm gonna make some money and whatnot. But I want to keep fighting her. Mm-mm. I would not have kept fighting her. Mm-mm. And I'm now curious as to who's going to fight her after this fight. Because she said, I got a few women's ASS she want to kick. That what she said in the radio interview where they was asking Pap, does he know he about to have a baby next year? You know, these people who be interviewing Claressa, she don't be catching the shade at the time. She don't be catching it at the time. It's not until somebody like, comment on it or, we do a video and everybody's saying the same thing that she be catching it. Cause that radio show host was shady. She was like, does Pap know he having a baby next year? Stop telling people that. You done said that for the past 2 years. In 2025, I'm having a baby next year. 100%. We almost through with 2026 and you got a fight coming up in a week. Now I'm having a baby next year. All right, girl. She be slow to process and can't read the room. She is so, like, her lack of self-awareness is so crazy to me. Like, she don't read the room well at all. She really doesn't. And speaking of reading the room, Cam faces during the interview when she was talking about upgrading, his face said it all. Like, girl, what are you even talking about? Upgrade, like, and everybody's opinion is subjective. Like, everybody can have their own opinion. Clearly, Cam did not think that Papoose upgraded when he got with her, but he let her have that. He let it rock. And there was a couple of other times when she was saying things, and Cam was looking at the camera like, y'all catching this? It was funny to me. And he laughed right in her face, and she's sitting there laughing with him. Like I said, if Claressa wasn't so mean, I would feel bad for her. I really would. I would feel bad for her because you're right. She doesn't read the room and she is slow to process things. And if she does have mental health issues, I don't know that this profession helps that. Like, it's just interesting. And now I'm wondering, like, what's next for her? Because after this fight is done and everything, what's next? When she starts stuttering, she be lying. That too, because she was stuttering. Everybody who knew her personally said the same thing about her. Cousin said that. Jada the boxer said that. When she started stuttering, that's when she lying real bad. And she know that people done said it, so she tries so hard not to stutter. But that's another thing. That's another tell. Stuttering. Watch her. Listen, you can find out a lot about somebody with their micro expressions, and her tell of when she's lying is the stuttering. She can't even get the words out hardly. It's kind of like her brain can't keep up with the lie her mouth trying to tell. That's what's going on. I mean, I don't know. And I know they filmed this Funky Friday episode in advance. I know they filmed it in advance, and that's why I don't think they got to the Miss Shanika stuff, because it was done. It was filmed before any of that was said. Because I'm pretty sure Cam would have addressed that. Cam is from Atlanta, so I know for a fact he would have addressed that. Because yeah, you don't do that. Yeah, but like it made sense that he got her on his platform though, especially because she's fighting in Atlanta, and he was saying he's not going to the fight. And she's like trying to make him come. It's like, girl, you can't make that man do nothing he don't want to do. She said she didn't start talking until she was 5. So, oh, okay. So she didn't start talking until she was 5. So she had an IEP. Yeah, like a down here it's called EIP, I think. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah. Another thing that was that I questioned too was, when she said she had lost her virginity. Um, I thought that she, you know, was essayed at a young age, and I don't know what that was about as far as like what degree or whatever. But it's just I don't know certain things that she decides to discuss. I just don't know why she do that. I just because we don't need to know when lost your virginity, man. We don't need to know that. It's like she just doesn't have any like she don't have any sense of what she should and should not say. Cause there was something she said on the interview that Cam had to correct her on, and kind of try to address it a different way or say it a different way. And it's like I think Claressa needs to just take a break from being in the public eye, get some etiquette classes, get a speech if she needs that. Like she just need to revamp. That's what I think. Just join the live. I've been looking forward to your analysis. Beautiful background. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm in the sunshine state, just chilling. I think Shanika questioned threw her for a loop because she had already ran her mouth on that Cam interview and got upset because she couldn't remember how she answered the questions because yeah, yeah, because she be lying. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, again, Clarissa don't like being caught off guard. That's that, and nobody does, but like it really bothers her to be caught off guard. Like she get mad when she get caught off guard. But with her interview with Cam, she's like, "Oh, this was a good interview." But she treats men differently than she treat women anyway. So that's a whole nother story. Like, anytime she's interviewing with a man, her whole energy and vibe is different than when she's interviewing with a woman. So yeah, yeah. Tell me what y'all think about the interview though. Like y'all hear my thoughts. I want to hear from y'all though. Like what y'all thought about the interview. What did you like about it? What you didn't like about it? Um, I already shared what I liked about it. And I'm telling you the parts that I'm like kind of side eyeing, like, okay, girl. Um, and she was saying that Pat was on the way back to Atlanta when she was in the midst of doing that interview or whatever. you know. Oh, I want to talk about her food. She was talking about like she can't eat fried food, but then she said she eat fried rice. And it's like, did she not know that fried rice is fried food? It's like stuff like that is why people be like, is she okay? Like, what's going on with her? Because some of the things that she says doesn't make sense. That's why if I could like make suggestions for Claressa and she would listen, you know what I'm saying? It's like, girl, go get yourself together. He did ask some good questions. He did. Yeah, he did. Cam is cool though. He's a cool guy. Like he's normally just chilling, just doing his show. And The people who he have on his show, he do respect. So, I appreciate Cam for that. I like his show, The Funky Fridays. I don't watch all of them, but when I see somebody that I want to watch, I do watch them, and I enjoy his shows. So, yeah, he did ask us some good questions. He asked some questions that fans would want to know until it got to the personal side, because I think he said he's never chilled with Papoose, but like he respects him as a man, right? Did you hear her say she liked popcorn, and Remy just said yeah, to help with her keeping her weight down? Yes. Yes. Thank you for reminding me of that. So yes, she said, Clarissa said she likes kettle corn because she likes candy and it's sweet. And on the Angel Martinez podcast interview, she was like, Remy said she eats popcorn with Saison seasoning on it. Yeah, once again, it's is it really a copy, or is it just they make like the same thing? Popcorn. I don't know. But when you have all these instances of clear copycatting, everything is in question now. Everything is in question. Even the snack choice is in question. Okay? It's crazy. It's man, this girl, it's kind of like, it's sad we got to break down a snack choice. Okay? A snack choice because of all the crazy copycatting stuff that we've seen. Man, sometimes I feel like the smallest things that we notice, it wouldn't even be a big deal if it was somebody else. It really wouldn't. It really wouldn't, because I myself like kettle corn. I love popcorn myself. Like, so what? You feel me? But like, because it's her and what we've seen, it's a big deal. She watched everything Remy do down to the New York accent. Yeah, she do. She do. She do. It's really sad because she could be a dope person if she be herself though, and let go some of that anger. And that's what I don't understand. She wasn't angry in this interview or anything like that, because for one, her energy is totally different when it's a man. And two, she didn't feel like Cam was attacking her, which he did not. He did not. But in general, she just seems so angry or combative. I'll say combative more than anything, for her to be so happy. And if you're so happy, just go live your life. Just go live your life. You don't have to put everything on social media. You don't have to respond to everything on social media. I have found that the people who are really living their life and are happy, you're not going to be there front row and center to see that. It's going to show in how you express yourself, how you show up, your countenance, as in what your face looks like. Because when you're truly happy, it radiates. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to profess it everywhere you go. It just shows. People can tell that you're happy. I feel like they was happy when they first came out because everybody was like singing their praises and whatever. Like they was in the good, it was a good light or whatever. It was a good way in which people was talking about them at first. Pat be triangulating her. That's why she has so much disdain for Remy. Yeah, like, she's going to have disdain for Remy, because that's what people do. Like when they mess with your man, when they steal your man, and I don't care what nobody say, because when you married somebody and you still living in their house, that's still that person, man. Okay. So with that being said, let me continue. It's always the one that's on the outside that be the maddest. She madder than Remy is. That's the funny part. But it's always like that. The one who's on the outside in infiltrating the relationship is always the one that's mad. So whatever Pat be doing, it just adds to what she already felt anyway. It's kind of like she mad that Remy is even a subject, a topic for discussion. She's mad that they're compared. They're going to be, unfortunately, because of the situation, they're going to be compared. They're going to be, talked about until this whole thing blow over, meaning until he get divorced. And even still, you're going to be talked about because now it's going to be like, okay, so what's going to happen now? Now people want to see, okay, now that he's not married to Remy anymore, is he about to marry her? And if he is, when? Are they going to have a big wedding like he did for Remy? When they were on the show? What's going to happen? That's the whole thing. So when you set yourself up for this type of stuff, when you start a situation like the one she has chased down with Pap, because it's like, let's go with this. He said that Claressa was in his inbox, right? And so what made him want to meet her? Like, was it purely just I'm a fan of her boxing, or was he making a move? What y'all think? I think he was making a move. I think he was testing. You know how dudes do, ladies. Y'all let me know if y'all experienced this. A dude come around and he do a little something to let you know that it's a go. If you picking up what he putting down. That's what I feel like, the whole standing off to the side, waiting on her to talk to the press and do all her photos and stuff. He was just saying, okay, if she'll let me talk to her, then I might be able to, slide on in. You see. This is the thing about men, y'all. It's so funny because men, they can be so like dumb in some ways. They can be like so slow in some ways. But one way they're not slow is when it comes to who they can play with and who they can do certain stuff with. Okay. I feel like some kind of way Pap knew that he'd be exactly where he at with her. Because he been playing the game a long time. Because people like Pap are very calculated. They don't let them fool you. Very calculated, very intentional, right? So you want to say, oh, we met and we just became friends and stuff. That's what he wanted you to do. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Y'all tell me if this hadn't happened to y'all. Every time I think about like in the past when I done come across somebody who's slick like that, they be knowing what they be doing. And when you're not in a place to not fall for it, they know. They know. And Pap is a master manipulator. Don't let him fool you. He knew her and Remy was friends. See, and he might have, because I heard that he would have all kinds of like recording devices, and he probably could access Remy Ma's messages and stuff. So he might have known that they were like Claressa was in her inbox. You know what I mean? My uncle was the same way. See? So yeah, you've been around it, right? So you can recognize that whole little, that smooth operator type joint. You know what I mean? Like y'all know, like when somebody just too slick, and if you ain't careful, they have you doing all kind of stupid stuff, and you be like, oh man. But see, you have to be able to see past the smoothness, the slickness, whatever. I mean, it's just amazing to me how, Claressa got up there and said she didn't even know Pap, because there's no way you didn't know who Papoose was. There's no way. I'm not going to believe that, ma'am. I'm sorry. Especially when we have evidence of you being in Remy's inbox. Come on. Everybody who know Remy know who her man was. Everybody. I don't care who you are. Everybody. So for you to sit here and say, I didn't even know who he was. Come on. Him and Remy were big boxing fans, and Rem was probably telling him she was helping her with her fashion tips. Could be. Could be. Could be. Mm-hmm. He might have seen an entry that way. Like, oh yeah, because we don't know what him and Claressa talked about or whatever, you know. But it's kind of like he threw the line out. You know when you go fishing, you throw the line out. When she hit him back, talking about it was nice to meet him, got him. Just like that. Just like that, he got her. See, ladies, here's the thing. You have to be careful because you may come across somebody and you think they cool or whatever, and you may think it's going to go one way, and then it go a whole nother way than you anticipated. You see, that's what's going on with Claressa and Pap. Like, it wasn't supposed to go like this. It wasn't. And Papoose really, it's kind of like it done gone too far. He in too deep now. So he got to play the role. He got to play the role. I don't think that he counted on Remy like outing him, right? He didn't anticipate that. He really didn't, because to out him is outing herself. Who want to out themselves? Like, who want to, fall on the sword? Very rarely do anybody want to fall on the sword. Remy forced his hand. Absolutely, she forced his hand. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I feel like it was a necessary step to take. Very necessary. They tried to make Remy the villain. They did. It was crazy because we all know what happened with that whole mess and everything. And they was trying to act like they was innocent. And Claressa don't like to acknowledge what it was, because I don't care what their marriage was like. I don't care if it was happy, sad, whatever. It was still a marriage. And at the time that you and him linked up, you ain't know the state of their marriage. And if you did, how did you know that unless he was telling you? At which point you still knew he was married anyway. It don't matter. That's what she don't like to recognize. It doesn't matter. She wanted out and he wouldn't leave. Absolutely. I went over that already. Like, I said in another video how, I believe that the whole Easy the Block Captain thing was her way to try to make him leave, because she was done with him. She had been done with Pap. Remy had been done with Pap, and I feel like she had been telling him she wanted a divorce, but he just didn't have another game plan at the time. And Claressa just came along at the right time. And Claressa don't want to see that. Claressa don't want to be told that. Claressa don't want to believe that. But that's what I believe. You still talking about Claressa Shields, old woman. Okay. Michelle, Michael, whoever you are, you can go. You can go. Like, I'm not even worried about you. That's why Claressa Shields keeps saying, look at Remy. She with someone too. Like, all right, girl. Like, honestly, I feel like Claressa talking about who Remy with and everything is just ridiculous. Like, it don't even make no sense. It don't even make no sense. Like, you don't know what that girl doing. And if you do, who telling you what? Like, why you even care? You know what I'm saying? Why you even care? Yep, deflection. Absolutely. Because she like, oh, we over here doing this, but look over there, look over there, look over there. Like, look at what they doing. It's like, so what? We talking about you right now. Like, we talking about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, answer for yourself. Every time she gets in a place where she feel uncomfortable answering about her and Papoose, she bring up Remy. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I want her to stop doing that. Stop doing that. Like, your decision to be with Papoose ain't got nothing to do with Remy. That's your decision. Okay, somebody says, okay, I'm coming from London, England. What's up? Say something nice about Claressa Shields, please. Listen, Claressa Shields is very strong. She's very strong. And I don't mean just physically. I mean, it takes strength to go, from where she was to where she is today. Listen, I don't hate Claressa. I don't hate Claressa. Never did. I don't have a reason to hate Claressa. Do I dislike her actions? Yes. Do I agree with how she's moving career wise in some ways and personally? I do not. So this is just my perspective. And this is just, for me at this point, it's a cautionary tale as to what can happen when you aren't careful like you should be and when you don't value yourself like you should. I've said numerous of times that Claressa deserves more. She deserves better. But it's sad that she don't see that. It's sad that she don't see that. And there's other women out here who, are in similar situations where they deserve more and they're just not getting it because they're accepting anything. What about Remy Ma and her son shooting up the black community in America? Okay, you can go with this. Because look, okay, and I realize that like a lot of people that's from like across the pond or whatever believe certain stuff. And there's like this image about like black on black crime and all of this stuff. Let me just tell y'all something right now. Usually people live amongst each other that's of the same cultural background. There's no race of folks that don't have interracial type of issues with crime and stuff like that. So we're not talking about that. Everybody of different backgrounds, social economic backgrounds, races and stuff have race relation issues. You see what I'm saying? So we're not talking about that. We're talking about the interview that Claressa Shields did on Funky Friday. Let me hear your thoughts on that. Let me hear your thoughts on that because at the end of the day, this is not a race relations commentary. It's certain stuff I don't talk about because it's just too charged. I'm not gonna talk about certain stuff because for one, I don't want YouTube flagging my stuff. So that's for one. And for two, it's just certain stuff that's just not conducive to what we talking about. But yeah. So do y'all think Claressa should continue doing interviews at this point? Or should she just kind of take a break? I feel like she should have been took a break. But before she sits down to do another, interview, should she kind of get some, I think she should get some coaching or something. Yeah, I agree with you. Ad Ray. Yeah. Okay, so you're saying no, she shouldn't do any more interviews. Nah, it don't help her image. Okay, honestly, I feel like if she took a pause from doing interviews and then came back with a whole new attitude and a whole new vibe, it could work. It could work. Yeah, that's what it's called, media training. But will she take the advice though? Like she has a team, right? She has a team, but you can only say and do so much because again, I'll use this analogy. Those that work and everything like that, we're on a job and we trying to tell somebody who has the power and the right to fire us what they should or shouldn't do. You feel me? Like we're trying to tell them, even if it's in their their own best interest, what they should do. And it's up to them if they do it. And from what I can tell about Claressa, she's not going to just do what somebody tell her to do. She has to see it. Therein lies the problem. That's the whole thing I've been saying this whole time. Like, her perception isn't where it could be, in my opinion. Pap already said she do what she wants. She is not going to listen. Nah, she not. She not. Hey Sherry. Hey Sherry. Welcome back. Sherry, since you just came in, what are your thoughts on the Funky Friday interview that Claressa did with Cam Newton? Have you seen it? Y'all drop your thoughts in the comments so we can talk about it, because um I'm, at this point the interviews don't help her image. She has fans, she's gonna have fans. Her fans gonna rock with her, that's cool. But if she talk about she wanna make more money and stuff, you have to appeal to people further outside of your reach. Sherry said it was crazy. You have to appeal to more people. She could have such a bigger brand, right? But her attitude limits that. And I think if somebody could help Claressa see why taking a break, getting some media training, and coming back could be beneficial to her. I think Claressa is afraid to leave the spotlight because she feels like people are going to move on without her and not, you know, feel it. She hurt her own image. Yeah, she is. She is. And then, I can't stand when people be like, oh, y'all bringing her down. I'm not bringing her down. That's not what I'm doing. I don't have the ability to do that. I can't do that. I'm just pointing out what I feel she could improve on, and, you know, just trying to, like I said, this is a case study at this point. It's for people to see this as an example, because sometimes you may not see something until you see it elsewhere, like in yourself. That's what this is. People who are in the spotlight, they set examples. It can be good examples, it can be bad examples. Feel like a lot of times she does not set a good example. Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. At the end of the day, I want to address the people who be like, "Oh, we bringing down our own talking about this." No, that's definitely not the objective. The objective is to enlighten and to inform, not bringing anybody down. So that's inaccurate. The craziest part is Pap and Remy could reconcile, not likely, and she would be left with what? Right. Yeah. You know, Here's the thing about marriages, especially long-term relationships like that. You'll be surprised what they could do. It's some crazy stuff. It's some even worse stuff that people have done and have come back from it. Not that I see that happening in this situation, because Remy tired. She tired. You know, it's too much. It's only so much disrespect somebody's going to take. And when somebody feels disrespected, you can forget the whole reconciliation, because she went through enough in private. Now it's all out for the world to see. It would look really crazy, I believe, in Remy mom's eyes, for her to take Papoose back because of the things that she's revealed. You talked about, always having the bag. So that means that you were the breadwinner in the marriage. You talked about him running up your credit card debt that you paid. You talked about him pawning your jewelry. You talked about him not getting his clothes out your house, how you had him on the couch for a couple of years. You talked about the so-so. At this point, I mean, I don't know that when a woman gets to that place, she's going to take a man back. Because one thing about it, ladies, And y'all tell me if I'm wrong or not. But when we love a man, whatever his flaws are, we don't speak them out loud to people. We don't tell, you know what I'm saying, that he got so D and all the other stuff I just ran down. Especially about that part. We don't talk about that derogatorily when we love a man and we with him, right? Yeah, it's no coming back. We don't do that. And that's why when she came out with that why you effing lying and said that, I was like, oh, she done. She done. Because she had been quiet like to a point until she came out with that. When she came out with that, I was like, oh yeah, Rim done. Because you don't do that. As a woman, when we love a man, we don't do that to him. We don't do that to him. So that's why I said it is done. It should be. It's to the point of no return. So I just wish that it could have been done better for their child. And I know when it's heated and it's hot, you may not make the best decisions in that regard. And that's what I'm saying. I know that she is young right now. She got parental control settings and all these things that she can do to keep her baby, shielded from this. But at some point in her life, it's going to come back and she's going to see it. And, I just feel bad for that because as kids, think about when you were a child and your parents was fighting or whatever, how that made you feel, right? It's been ugly, very ugly. And I just wish that Papoose would just let go, but I don't know. And it doesn't help that Claressa continuously inserts herself. She in the interview, she was like, "Oh, me and Pap over here, she over there." Not really though. I wish Claressa would move on from mentioning Remy and let them co-parent in peace. Right, that would be the mature thing to do, you know. And at this point, because it's been so just out in the open, if she wanted to get people to stop asking her about this, and when I say this, I mean Remy in particular, she should be like, look, this is the last time I'm addressing this. I don't have anything against Remy. You know, her and Papoose have a child together. They gotta handle that situation. I'm gonna let him do that. And I'm just gonna be supportive to him in that transition. That's it. That's it. They want to hear her say something and they want Remy to respond and stuff. I mean, like that's what they be trying to do. They be trying to get her to say something and she don't seem to see that. Papoop is going down. Sherry, you see her calling him Papoop again. He is like, unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? This hasn't been good for any of them because regardless of anything, like him and Remy was together almost 20 years. The love don't just go away because you're hurt, right? It doesn't. And that's another reason why I don't understand why Claressa don't get it. That just because somebody is in a bad marriage don't mean that there's no love there. Y'all tell me a time when somebody you loved hurt you and you just stop loving them because they hurt you. I'll wait because it normally doesn't happen. When you really love somebody, the stopping your love for them takes time. I would never want to be a rebound. Me either. Me either. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Because if somebody isn't truly over a situation, let me break this down real quick. Because you can get over a person sometimes before you get over what happened. You see, you can get over a person sometimes before you get over what happened, right? There's not been enough time for him to get over either one. He ain't over Remy, and he's not over what happened. He will not, like, the amount of time that it took And the fact that he was still trying to hold on when he met Claressa tells me he went over Remy. He went over what happened. Period. So that's why this is a cautionary tale for Claressa and anybody who comes in a situation like this. It's not good. It's just not good for you, because you want somebody that's healed. Because when somebody is healed, they can give you more of themselves. He not giving her what he could give her if he was actually healed, which takes time, the time that she don't have, because she's trying to hurry up and rush and do all this other stuff that ain't gonna do nothing but create more problems for her. Because why you think he's gonna be any different with you than he was with her if certain things happen? He ain't had time to change. It doesn't appear that he's trying to change, not with the shenanigans y'all got going on. Because if he was trying to change, if he was changed, he wouldn't go along with this stuff that she doing. He wouldn't go along with her, but he does. You see, so that it's just so many different things that shows why it's just not a good situation. It's about more than just, oh, they was in a bad marriage anyway, so I ain't broke up no happy home. Girl, so many levels. He is not defending her. She out here windmilling by herself. Yep. That's a bad position to be in. Because I'm going to tell you something. When a man loves you, he protects you. Okay? That's a fact. When he loves you, he protects you. And one way in which Papoose could protect Claressa is by coming out and saying, listen, unequivocally, I love this woman. I'm going to divorce Remy. I'm going to marry Claressa. End of it. Has he done that? He has not. He had the chance. He did not. I know mine do. Right. You're saying, your man protects you. Correct. Because he loves you. And that's what he's going to do. And if anybody even look like they want to try something, he own them. That's what I'm saying. We don't see that from Papoose. Claressa is the one that's embodying that energy, not Papoose. That's never a good sign. Love yourself. That's correct. That's the lesson. That's when you love yourself for real, it's so many things that you won't put up with. It's so many avenues that you won't even go down, because it's contrary to you loving yourself and how you feel about yourself. And how can you love yourself if you don't even know yourself? Claressa doesn't know herself. She's too busy focusing on other stuff. I was telling my husband about it today, and he said he didn't love her. Because men know. That's what I'm saying. Ladies, this is what I suggest you do. You have a male friend, family member, somebody that'll keep it 100 with you. Somebody that's going to let you know what's the real. Somebody who won't have nothing to lose by telling you the truth. Talk to him. Listen. Don't get mad at what he say when he's telling you the 100% truth. Just because you don't like it, don't mean you don't need to hear it. Because I promise you, when you do that, you get a different perspective. And you know how to conduct yourself with these men out here. We don't have enough of that. We don't have enough people that's willing to have real conversations about stuff and put people on game. Need to be put on game, because if there was somebody that could give you the game and give you the cheat sheet, would you not want that? Instead of sitting up here going the hard way, Going like you doing stuff the hard way. You got to understand what it is that you up against. And it's so interesting because she's a boxer, she's a fighter, and she feels that it's okay that she has to fight for this relationship. It's not okay. Life is not boxing, you see. And I think that she uses boxing as a life metaphor, and that's not working for her. Because when it's love for real, it don't take all this. Mm-mm. It don't take all this. I'm telling you right now. It's really sad. It really is. It's really sad. But I digress. I think I covered pretty much everything from the interview that I wanted to cover. Um, I don't remember anything else that really stood out to me or anything like that. But yeah. Y'all excited for the fight or what? It's coming. It's coming, y'all. Like this fight is about to happen. And it'll be interesting to see who shows up as far as celebrities. Like I said, she was trying to get Kim to come. He don't do events, he said. He don't want to go. So it's really sad to see her lose everything. I hope that she wake up before she lose everything. But who knows? I don't know. Only she know. Only she know. At the end of the day, Claressa got some decisions to make, whether she realizes it or not. You won't be watching. Um, I thought about going to the fight just so when I report back, it's what I've seen myself, right? When they first like announced the fight and everything, I was like, it'll be good to be there because I live in Atlanta, so it's not like it'll be hard for me to get there. But I don't even want to go no more. I wouldn't go because after the fight, a lot will be going on. See, that's what everybody keeps saying because of the whole baddies situation and everything. That's what everybody keeps saying. I don't know. I mean, I hope it's not like that, but you never know. You never know. Um, I was thinking about going though, just so I can like be there and see what's really going on and really, you know, have the inside scoop. You feel me? So I don't know. Yeah, so um somebody saying it's a fixed fight. I do feel like, you know, Kay was cherry picked, as in she was chosen because of her record and everything. Her and Claressa, during the press conference, was saying that they had sparred before. And when you spar somebody, you get a chance to kind of feel them out a little bit, kind of see what they're working with. And yeah, so we know her record is 5-1-1. She just started, boxing at a professional level. So I don't know. Greetings all. Just scrolling, came across your page and joined this conversation. So very true. All that you're saying, Claressa is her own enemy. Yeah, the people who, first of all, thank you. I apologize. Thank you, Northern Bell. I appreciate that. I think the people who report are just pointing out some things. Flights happen at the fights and cars break in allegedly. Yeah. I mean, that could be, but like honestly, um whenever I've gone to an event, I haven't had a problem or anything like that, like at the State Farm Arena. people usually just come and then they go. But for this event, it seemed like people are thinking that it's going to be something. Yeah. But yeah, back to what I was saying about people reporting on this. I don't think anybody hates her. Like I've heard a lot of the YouTubers saying how they don't hate Claressa. You know what I'm saying? They don't hate her. But it's just alarming some of the things she says and does. And it's like people just be like wondering what the heck is going on. And it's something to discuss because a lot of people don't feel like anything that's going on is wrong. And I'm not just talking about Claressa. I'm talking about the whole thing. It went terribly wrong. It's not good. And I hate that it's playing out like this, to be honest. Um, this is a family matter, to be honest, and it shouldn't be played out in the public like this. Until she can be honest with herself, she can't possibly be honest with others. Yeah, and that's true. She lied to herself all the time, unfortunately. And it's really sad to see. And then she says things as if she says it with enough conviction, people will believe her, not counting on people having an actual brain and thinking for themselves. Her behavior is alarming sometimes. Yeah, it is. It's concerning, actually. I love to see Claressa, but not what she's doing outside the ring. Yeah. I mean, and that's where the conflict comes in because it's entertainment. Boxing is entertainment, right? But what we see outside of the ring is not. Not to me anyway. Like it's not good for her. It's not good for society because like we normalize so many things that I just don't feel should be normalized. I don't know. But we have to do a better job because like we wonder why the kids act like they act. Look at what they surrounded around. They surrounded by foolishness, drama. I seen a post that was asking why do women still act like kids, right? Like we're not exemplifying any different behavior than the kids. We're not setting ourselves apart from the kids. It's like you have women out here and men that aren't acting like they should and setting an example. We tend to hate our own black people. Huh? Okay. Okay. Well, I don't hate my community. I don't know how you feel about your community, but I don't hate my community. I love my community, period. So you can keep that over there because I don't hate my community. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think that if we don't call out the bad behavior, that's not showing love. Like people don't wanna be wrong, right? People don't want to see their behavior as something that's undesirable. They feel like as long as they feel like doing it, they should be able to. She's not the brightest, but that's okay. Look at her history. The elders are gone. The respect is gone. It's a different world than when we were growing up. Yeah, it is. It is a different world. And as we all get older and stuff, it's up to us to shape it, but we're not. We just kind of let things go. However, this is true. She has plenty of achievements. Her behavior needs to match. Thank you. I've said the same thing. I have said this over and over again. I mean, like, if her self-love matched her abilities in the ring, now that would be woke behavior. You feel me? Like that would be more in line with being a quote. Because as a public figure, you're gonna put out examples to people. right? You're going to put out examples to people, good or bad, whether you want to or not. That's just what it is. And I would think she want her legacy to be more than she got all these belts and stuff, and then it just went downhill after she got with somebody's husband, because that's what it's going to be. No matter what she says, no matter how she feels, that's going to be the story. She got to do something to change the narrative back, though. And it's not cuss people out and not lie and not, no, you got to do something else that's going to be more impactful, because you're not going to get people to agree with you if they don't. They're just not. She has to, because the personal relationship is overshadowing the professional right now. So she got to do something else that's going to supersede that, because we know she ain't going nowhere until she ready, if she ready. The way Claressa is acting is not someone to look up to. No, it's not. Not the personal side. The achievement side, I have no critique, because she did what she did and she's great at what she do in the ring. That's a fact. Her skill talent got her in, but her character is going to get her kicked out. The culture feeds into this, though. That's why we have to teach and raise our children, not social media and media teaching. I completely agree. Completely agree with that entire statement. Like, I know back in the day, Rihanna was like, I shouldn't be your child's role model. And she's right. But there are parents out here who don't take the time to really raise their children, to be the first influence of their children, and they get caught up. And social media has really altered our culture, and it gets kids access to things they shouldn't have access to until they're much, much older, and that's why um it's a problem. And speaking of kids and Claressa Shields, because somebody said something about her niece and everything. I haven't seen her interact with her niece, so I don't know that. But I know there was a toy drive at some point, like maybe last Christmas or something, the Christmas before that, and she threw the kid and her mama out because she didn't like the mama. Like, you don't, the toy drive is for the kids. It's a better way to do things. You see, that's what I'm saying. People came out there, of course, to get the toys, but you were in your community and you treating your community kid like this by throwing them out. It's just, I don't think she thinks about things before she do them. She's going to have to go live to apologize to the world and people she's hurt, and leave Papoose in box like we like her to do. Yeah, I mean, like, she wants more than boxing, though, and that's obvious. She wants more than boxing, but it's just not going well for her. Oh my God. Okay. So again, I don't hate Claressa Shields. I'm not hating on Claressa Shields. What I am doing, though, is critiquing the behavior. And if you can't understand that by now, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't dog Claressa Shields out. Let me tell you something. I don't talk about her looks. I don't talk about, derogatory things. I don't post unflattering photos of Claressa. I don't do that. That's not what I'm here for. So I don't know where you get this hate narrative from. I don't hate her. Everybody who critiques her behavior don't hate her. I don't know why people do that. Just because somebody don't agree with something somebody has said or done don't mean they hate them. That's crazy. I don't even know that girl. I don't hate her. I don't hate anybody, because hating somebody is like drinking poison thinking the other person gonna die. That don't even make sense. What I hate her for? She ain't did nothing to me. I believe it's still on the parents. It's not the world job to teach my children. I completely agree with you. Even as an educator, I'm disgusted by the type of behaviors that's condoned by parents. Yeah. See, I know you in the education field, you see a lot. I know you see a lot of stuff. What grade you teach? Because it starts young and it starts at home. And this is what I am like. When you tell a parent about their child and then they act like they don't know where the behavior came from, or like they ain't never seen it themselves, like, don't that make you mad? Like, girl, it starts at home. She wants attention, but in the wrong ways. Yeah, you know, fame, fame is funny because it does something to you if you don't check yourself. You begin to feel entitled and you begin to feel like you're owed the attention. Ninth through 12. Oh yeah. You teach ninth through 12th grade. Ooh, bless your heart, because mm-mm, they be doing a lot at that age. They really do. I love Clarissa, but not her ways. That's what we're talking about. Right. We're not talking down to Clarissa. I don't talk down on Clarissa. I talk about the things that I feel she could do better, that I wish she would realize, that I wish that somebody could like get to her so she could be better. I say that all the time. Like, I know if you new here, you might think that this is like a Clarissa hate page or something. It's not. It's really about talking about the behaviors and why it's detriment to her. And when people behave like this, they're really hurting themselves in more ways than one. She happens to be famous, and so it's hurting her career, but she hurting in other ways too. We must change our behavior and mindset. When I met the parents, I understand my students and their world. I see parents who act just like Clarissa. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. Be up there trying to cuss you out and fight you because they don't like what you're saying, and I mean all kind of stuff. Clarissa talks down on people, call them broke, ugly, and more. Yeah, she do. She do. But why be so nasty? Like, you don't have to do that. Yeah, I don't do that over here. I don't feel that it's necessary to tear anyone down. I don't feel like that's constructive, right? I don't feel like that's what she needs. I feel like she needs somebody that care enough to tell her, but she also got to be open. She also got to be open to, okay, maybe I'm going about this the wrong way. And that's another thing that I want to bring up about Papoose. Like, if it's okay, because she said it's whatever Pap say goes. But why can't he tell her, like, okay, baby, like, this may not be the right thing to do. Like, we need to, you know, change the image that's out there, right? Because at this point, if she ain't gonna listen to nobody but Pap, then why we're not seeing a shift in, a better, image that she's putting out there. You see what I'm saying? That's what I mean. He protect the bag, but he don't protect her. That's a problem to me, because he's not investing in her, just the money. Right. That's definitely the point. That's definitely the point of it. He's not invested in her. He's invested in the opportunity that she brings. It's also interesting to note how they will do promotional things for his daughter's lip gloss. It just feels like a lot of the people that's around her are there to benefit from her. If they're not getting something, then they're not there. She's temporary. That's what a lot of people are saying. I don't know how much longer this can last though. Like, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's what people are saying. Like, you know, he just there. for a little while, not a long time. She talks like that because that's what's on the inside of her. Out of the heart, the mouth speaks. Yep, she really is a scared, hurt, broken little girl looking for love. I agree. I agree with that. Absolutely. She certainly is. And it's really sad that people clown this and cheer it on too. Like they cheer this on, not considering what you just said, Northern Belle, that she is a scared, hurt, and broken little girl inside. She really is. That's why she act like this until that contract is up. Yeah, when he was with his wife, he moved differently. Okay, so let's talk about that real quick because the crazy part about when a man marries somebody, and I know this is gonna sound weird, but even when a man is a cheater, a liar, or whatever, they still be different with their wife versus somebody they haven't made that level of commitment to. Not saying he always executes it properly, not saying he always does the right thing, right? But there's some men, you know how some men they cheat and they lie and they do all this crazy stuff, but then they be like, but that's my wife, but that's my wife. Like, I don't know why men do that. Somebody tell me why men do that. You know what I mean? I don't know. But the point is, whenever a man has made you his wife, you just gonna be different to him than anybody else. That's just the way it is, ladies. We can't change that. We can't change that. I don't know. And that's another layer to this whole thing that Claressa don't seem to be understanding. She just not understanding a whole lot of stuff. You know, it's a whole lot of stuff she not understanding. I don't know, y'all. At the end of the day, we just gonna keep watching. Um, as usual, it's always something to talk about. It's always something to reflect on. And we just here to see how the story unfolds further because we know it's not over. It's never gonna be over because it seems to me like they in this for the long haul. I hate to say, but Claressa may have to fall down to realize things. She may have to take a hit, a bad hit, before she realizes, hey, I could have done things a little differently. I should have loved myself a little more. And so I'm gonna say this before I go. Sometimes you have to get hit in order to wake up. Sometimes you have to hit bottom before you have to get back up and climb your way back up. And along the way, learn the lessons that you should have been learning as were climbing. One thing that I do know is when there's a lesson for you to learn, you're going to keep reliving and recycling the experience until you learn that lesson. I believe that when a man loves, he loves. When a man loves, he loves different. Yeah, he do. Be there for her when the train crashed. I mean, like, you know, I'm hoping that by some kind of, I don't know, something occurs that, she won't have to go through that. She built herself before. If it happens, she can build herself again, but why do all of that when you can just realize how you can do better? I don't know. But anyway, y'all, my phone about to die. I got to get to bed. I got things to do in the morning. But as always, I appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, share. It's free. I appreciate it. Y'all stay tuned. When I get back in town, I'm going to start doing some more videos and everything. I appreciate everybody that showed up to the live tonight. Good night.